Hello, my peoples. It's, I don't know. It's about that time. It's June 24th, 7:30 p.m. All right, so I got a good one for you, finally. Just got done with dinner and got out here to the generator. So let's get right into it. You will notice there a beautiful new high pressure regulator. Anyway, so here's the old one. There's where the thing broke off, and I just unscrewed the other part and threw it in there. So Tractor Supply had 3 of them, and I grabbed the one with the best packaging that wasn't all beat up and dented and everything else. So yeah, thank you, Tractor Supply. All right, so I would be remiss if I didn't give you a little disclaimer here. I've already run this once because I wanted to make sure that we weren't in for any surprises. I want to give you a good video, a positive video, one that's full of win and not fail. Speaking of fail, let's move this guy. There we go. Let me get that out of the way because it was kind of, making everything there more banjo tight than it had to be. There. Sorry, I'm a little fired up here. Excited. So in the last video I talked about the big giant cable that I had that was going to go between there. Well, there you see it. There it is in all its splendor and glory. I put RV connector ends on it because they got the little handle and it makes it a lot easier to manipulate and move around and such. All our cabling is still hookered up. So, I have to be completely honest with you here. When I was running it earlier, about 5 minutes ago, the PVC air hose in there was all kinkered up. So I had to undo that pipe strap right there, that silvery looking thing, the hose clamp, twist the rubber hose to remove the tension that was in the PVC that was crimping it sideways. So had a little bit of a fuel delivery issue there, and then I also had to adjust the carburetor a bit. The choke. I'm going to adjust the choke in order to improve our fuel to air mixture. Because remember, I drilled a hole in the side of the carburetor and we're just feeding the propane directly into the throat hole. And we're using the choke as a adjustment for our fuel to air ratio. So, I ran this thing once already. We load tested it and it lived. It didn't blow up like that one. So, the only issue is it's making 250 volts AC. So one of my UPSs is bitching and complaining about that, and it's going into AVR trim, which what that means is the UPS itself has an AVR, and it can boost or it can trim if it doesn't like the voltage that's coming into it. So if the voltage is too hot or too high, it will trim. If it's too low, it'll boost. So there's a couple taps on the transformer that it activates with relays internally and adjusts the voltage properly to keep your computers and whatnot happy. What is that? Oh look, some sort of, is that the feds? Are they coming for me? That's a Black Hawk. Alright guys, been nice knowing you. I gotta run to the bunker. Peace out. Well, I'm sure it's nothing. Alright, so the gas is on. I have this little switch here that is supposed to tell the computer there, the brain box, whether or not you want an actual load test when you hit the press to test button. I don't know what's going on with this thing, because as soon as it makes contact, whether the switch is like in the off or the on position, it doesn't seem to matter. It just fires up and goes. So I'm not sure what to make of that. It could have been the fact that I just had dinner, and full disclosure, the work that I had scheduled to start at 10 p.m. tonight got canceled and rescheduled to tomorrow. So tomorrow I will be working overnight for the customer. I'm free either way. You know, I get paid whether I'm marching or fighting. I'm not complaining. It's just, you know, a change in plans. And luckily, you know, I didn't have anything going on. I blocked off this entire week because I knew that there was going to be some shenanigans. I just knew. It is the nature of the animal. My manager was even like, "What's that mean?" And I was like, "Manager? Person? Just understand that, you know, this is the way it has to be because there's just so many things happening on this project that even though the cutover is like one night and we're doing 2 sites in one night, I need the whole week." And I was right. So it is what it is. I may have started celebrating early. Anyway, let's get down to it. So I'm gonna connect this little guy right here, this wire. I'm gonna put that back where it belongs on there. I built this according to the diagram. You know, like right here. Here it is. Okay, it even says right here. Close input to initiate test with transfer between pins 1 and 2. So that's basically what that switch is doing. So, but I'm a little confuzzled as to why as soon as you close the thing, it just goes. Because I would assume that you'd want to test by pushing the button and, you know, giving it a human input, or by flipping the switch. But like I said, like I just kind of, did I declare? What did I do? I don't know. Anyway, I'm at a loss for words here. Like I don't want to say admit. Anyway, like I explained just a few seconds ago, there may be some, you know, celebration involved here that is clouding my judgment that maybe this thing is operating the way it's supposed to, and I'm just kind of along for the ride. At any rate, all right, let's get the, where did they go? There they are. I need these. I need them on my head. And apparently I need both hands for it. Or do I? Hang on, almost. There we go. I got it. I got them. Benefit of having ginormous bare paws. All right, so the gas should be on. Battery is good to go. This thing is in the normal state, as we can see here. Utility is lit, and the transfer switch is drawing from utility. So let's connectorize this thing. And see what happens. All right, so nothing happened there. Okay, I'm cool with that. So let's press test and see what we get. pretty sure that if a transfer were to have happened, it would have taken place already within that time frame. So, I think we need to flip that switch and then press the test button in order for the ATS to do its thing. But you will notice it fired up, it ran. It's awesome. All right, let's flip this guy here. Leverage. Where are you, leverage? Oh God. iPad right now, but when that transfer took place, you didn't really hear a change in engine RPM. So the load that was applied didn't even phase this thing. It's awesome. Here we are. Oops, sorry, some monster. Okay, we are online. We are not on battery. Yeah, buddy. Okay. We are online. We're pissy about the power quality, but that's okay. And our batteries are in the dumpster. Oh well. That's why I got 2 UPSs. But if you like, share, and subscribe and help me grow the channel, I'll take care of this guy. I'll show it some love and give it some new batteries. Help me help my UPS. How about that? Look at that. They're happy. We're happy enough anyway. Alright, let's go back out here. Go inside where there's no glare. Alright, so APC01 is obviously that guy, the one on top, as UPS, or I'm sorry, Home Assistant, the not the UPS integration, is recording and it is trimming voltage. So the UPS is pissed. Voltage that's coming into it, and that's that. And yeah, you can see it's 126 volts. UPS 2 is online and happy with the plan. 120 volts. So I might be able to go onto the management card of UPS and change the settings and tell it to not be as sensitive, but I have a feeling that when we get the rest of this system built out and we bring the chicken coop into the mix and we apply all that extra load, that the voltage might drop a little bit. So I'm not overly concerned about this thing. But I can tell you from experience that when I load tested with the Braking Stratton Winco generator there, the one that died, did not last this long, and when it took the load, it lugged down and RPM something fierce. So I think we're in a lot better shape here. We got the correct generator applied to this here from under it, and you know, makes it good. It's doing what it's supposed to do, and you fix what I did last night, soldering the wires back together, or severing those connectors. transfer switch controller obviously works, so that's good. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm just kind of rambling away at the iPad here with that monster running on the other side of the stage here. Anyway, let's go back and see what she's going. So back in the day, when that was a gas generator, there was literally flames coming out of the muffler. It was blowing even hotter than that. So, I don't know. We're going to kind of keep that in the back of our minds here. So we remount this thing permanently. Inside here. Let's, you know, make sure all of our businesses and their taxation are more than sufficient. As much as I like to see it right now, all right. Oh yeah. Finally, some success. I love it. All right. So I'm assuming that you heard everything I was saying while this thing was running. I mean, I had my earmuffs on. I have no idea what the microphone on the iPad here was doing, but long story short, we just did a successful load test between the old Kohler Grobon generator rated 10K, even though it's like twice the size of that 10K over there. I think somebody's lying. Yeah, so I fixed that thing last night, soldered the connections back together, fixed it, it works. We added the load test switch and sort of figured out how that thing works. As soon as you switch it to load test, in other words, the way it's drooping down now, if you kind of send that to the right, that's load test. It fires everything up automatically. But in order to shut her down, you need to fire it back the other way. In other words, go back to the left. Then you need a manual intervention to come over here and press the button on the controller. And that, my friends, is key, because I was thinking that I was going to use Home Assistant with a remotely triggerable relay to initiate a load test. In other words, if I determine that I want my everything to go on to backup power and say, screw the grid, I'm going to backup power, and I am not physically here present, I could use Home Assistant in theory to, do the functionality of that there switch. However, if I go back the other way with the switch, somebody needs to come over here, open up this enclosure, and then press the button for this thing to, shut off and stop wasting fuel. I assume that when it runs out of fuel, if nobody ever did that, and utility was available, the old transfer switch would just go back to utility like normal. Thoughts for another day. So, let's go over here and double check. See what our UPSs are up to. Yep, that one's back to normal. It's no longer trimming. That one didn't even get phased at all. So, finally, I've got a good, solid win and some good, solid meat and potatoes for all my viewers. So, if you agree with that sentiment right there, like, share, and subscribe. Help us out. And, I'll continue experimentifying with all sorts of nonsense. But at this point, we have a functional system. I can leave the switch in auto, and I'm protected against unplanned power outages. Until this little bottle runs out, of course. But, I got plans. We're going to acquire some 100-pound tanks, because the guy up the road that fills tanks, wink, wink, nod, nod style, he fills them. You get your money's worth. He'll fill up to a 100-pound tank. And the way the taxes are in New York, 100-pound tank is it's a little benefit, if you know what I mean. Winky, winky. So, yeah, I'm going to get some big tanks. And at this point, now I need to start figuring out in my little brain box. Well, it's kind of a big brain box, actually. At least the website said it was. It said it was like a 140. And anywho, I need to start figuring out how we are going to mobilize this genset, get it out of the frame, and then move it to its new home, which long ago in a video far away, I said that its home was going to be up in there behind all that stuff. So we got some fabricating to do. We're going to have to fabricate us some track, some overhead track, and some strut, and some support structures. So stay tuned, because now we're getting into the heavy construction phase of this project, now that we have a functional genset that doesn't blow up on itself. Yeah, buddy. It's a good day. I might celebrate some more, if you know what I mean. Like, share, and subscribe, everybody. TechBilly83 coming to you from the Techstead. Take care. Have a good one. Peace.